I had an AirTag placed on my car while I was traveling alone in Troy, Alabama. I just wanted to put this video out there because I know that I'm not the only woman that travels alone often. So I just want other women to be able to avoid a possibly very scary situation like this one. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was traveling down to Santa Rosa Beach in Florida for a girls' weekend last week. And I was traveling alone, and it was after work. About 8:30 p.m. I was in Troy, Alabama, and I needed to stop for gas. As a woman already does, I was trying to pass all the sketchy looking gas stations and find the one that looked the most well lit, like the most safe. So I pulled over and I stopped for gas. While my gas was pumping, I needed to use the restroom. So I left my car while it was filling up with gas and went inside to use the restroom. I do think that this was my mistake number one, and I'll explain that a little bit later. When I got back outside, my gas was done. I put the hose up, got in my car, cranked it, and left. If you ever travel to the beach and you travel through Troy, Alabama, you know that a lot of the roads that you end up on are back roads in Alabama. 2-lane roads, not very traffic heavy, and there is nothing and no one for miles and miles and miles. And this was also at 8:30 at night, so it had already gotten dark in Alabama at this point. However, didn't see anybody following me or anything like that. It literally just seemed like it was just me on the road.
See right here, in my opinion, this is a good example, but by what I mean, if you're gonna go anywhere, please make sure that you can protect yourselves at any given moment, especially taking, state to state trips like this. If you end up on a dark road and something happens, you want to make sure that you can at least protect yourselves, because you never know what the next person is thinking. And videos like this are starting to come out a lot. Like, I mean, I keep seeing so many videos just like this coming out. Again, protect yourselves and be aware of your surroundings, because you never know what that next individual is thinking. It's some crazy things that are happening throughout our country. The best that you can do is to make sure that you, yourself, or anyone around you that's hanging out with you is protected at any given moment, because there have been some serious things happening throughout our country. But let's continue.
I would pass another car like every now and then, like every maybe 15 minutes, another one would pass me coming the other way. But for the most part, it was just me on this 2-lane road at night about 8:30, and there's no cell reception. These are typically the roads that you go to when you're going to the Florida beaches, not the Alabama ones. These are the Florida beaches like Destin, 38, and Panama City. I stopped for gas at 8:30, and the first time that it picked up my location was at 8:30, but I did not get a notification from Apple that an unknown AirTag was traveling with me until 10:27 p.m. So I had been being tracked for 2 hours before I ever got a notification from my iPhone. So that's another reason why I wanted to put this video out, so that you guys can know how to check on your phone to see if an AirTag is traveling with you, because we can't rely enough on those notifications because they're not coming in time. So if you open up the app, Find My, like you're doing Find My iPhone, you're going to go on the bottom. It's going to say like people, devices, items. You're going to click on items, and you're going to click on identify items or identify unknown items. And you're going to click on that to see if there is any kind of AirTag or something following you that.
I went back just a little bit so that we could hear that again. And another thing too is I'm glad that this has been brought up, because I've been seeing videos where people didn't know that, an AirTag was possibly, tracking them and whatnot. It's been with them the entire time. And then all of a sudden they see this route and they're like, hey, I've been getting tracked from this. How did that even happen? And then this is another good thing where educational purposes, okay? Right here is a good example on how quick things can escalate from 0 to 100 really quick. She didn't even know. She just went in to the gas station, came back, and she didn't get that alert until later. This is a good example. Again, protect yourselves at any time and be aware of your surroundings, because, again, these notifications can be later. You don't know if an individual is tracking you. You don't know if an individual is following you. This is why it's very important to be aware of your surroundings and be aware of things like this that may potentially happen. Not saying it will, but it may potentially happen.
How to check on your phone to see if an AirTag is traveling with you, because we can't rely enough on those notifications because they're not coming in time. So if you open up the app, Find My, like you're doing Find My iPhone, you're going to go on the bottom. It's going to say like people, devices, items. You're going to click on items, and you're going to click on identify items or identify unknown items. And you're going to click on that to see if there is any kind of AirTag or something following you that is unknown to you. Another way that you can check is you can go to your Bluetooth settings and click Bluetooth and then scroll down to other devices and see if any other Bluetooth devices are within reach of you that could connect to your phone. If you have an unknown AirTag here, then it's going to pop up because they are Bluetooth and they will connect to your device. So that's another way that you can look for an unknown AirTag that is following you that is not supposed to be there.
It's just so crazy that you can't just go do simple things anymore without having to check all of your boxes to make sure like things like this isn't happening around you, make sure you're not being followed. It's just crazy, you know, like growing up, you never really heard about things like this happening. And now with all of these new things that have been coming out and all this new stuff that has been happening, videos like this have been, circulating the internet. People have been bringing up similar stories, saying that, I had something like this happen. I had this experience. Not saying that it's going to be the experience for everyone, but it's been happening. Not in just one place. It's been happening in multiple places. So protect yourselves at all times. It doesn't matter where you're going. You could be running into the grocery store for a loaf of bread. Just protect yourself.
I've never used an AirTag before, so this was all new to me, and I know that there's probably others out there like that don't know how AirTags work. So that's another reason why I wanted to put this out there so that everybody can be aware and be safe while they're traveling alone. This has been really scary for me and has made me very, very wary of traveling alone as a female. I typically don't usually get very scared to travel alone because I do it so often, but this has just put a whole new perspective that even in a small town like Troy, Alabama, things like this can happen. So if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. So ladies, we've got to continue to remain aware. Check your phone, check your Bluetooth, check the Find My. Make sure you are looking in your surroundings at all times. The other thing that I'm going to do differently now is if I do have to stop and get gas and go to the bathroom at the same time, I'm going to stay with my car and pump the gas first and not leave my car. Then I'm going to move my car to a front parking spot in front of the building before I get out to go to the bathroom. And I know that that doesn't seem like much, but the gas pump was blocking the view of my car from the building, so it was a lot easier for someone to put an AirTag on my car and go unnoticed. I feel like at least it would make me feel a little bit better that my car being at the very front of the store and foot traffic in and out, maybe someone would notice something and say something with it being in more of like a public view. I did report this to the police, but no shock sometimes as being a woman when you ask for help. They really didn't do anything. They didn't even check my car. They didn't even search it. That's a whole nother story for another video, but that's why we have to rely on each other and rely on ourselves to make sure that we stay safe. So make sure you're checking every single time you get in your car after you've been somewhere alone and gotten out of your car. Make sure you're checking your phone for those AirTags, because again, this could have ended up being a very scary situation for me. I am just so thankful that I did not stop my car again the entire time that I was driving before I got the notification on my phone and found out that somebody was tracking my location. I have seen other videos that people will even try to run women off the road and all of those kind of things. So just make sure you're always checking your phone every single time you stop. Stay safe out there. Love y'all. Bye.
Listen, another thing too, I don't know if this is going to be fine for everyone to do, but if you're in a situation just like this and you realize that, you're being tracked or whatnot, always should drive up to a police station. That's the last place that these individuals will want to go, is the police station. So please, again, if something like this happens, just be alert, be aware, drive to the police station. I'm sure they would love to help you. If not, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure they would love to help you. And I'm sure that's the last place that individual would love to go, And it's crazy that, you can't do simple things anymore in life without having to worry about things like this potentially happening. It's a sad times that we're living in. I wish that, there was peace and unity and things like this were never happening. But, you never know what the next person is thinking. Sometimes individuals just, I don't even want to say it. There are certain words that I know I can't say on here. So original link to this video will be in my description box. Make sure you leave this video a big thumbs up. It helps the video get out, helps spread awareness, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
White people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our violence, white violence. No more deflecting, no more blaming everything on everybody else. Let's confront ourselves. White people in America, our history is so extremely violent. And instead of confronting that, we continue to blame other people for the issues and the problems in this country, instead of just taking ownership of our part to play in everything, which is a huge part. Can we stop scapegoating other groups of people, please, and just look at ourselves? White people, it's time to talk about it. Like, it's long past time. Getting rid of other groups of people in this country is not going to make this country better. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to make you better. I think white people are so scared to talk about race and to talk about white violence and white supremacy because they don't want to connect themselves to it. We don't want to feel like we're a part of the problem. But unless you're acknowledging the reality of how the US, this country, runs, you are a part of the problem. I truly believe in my heart, in my soul, that if you're born a white person in this country or on this planet, but I'll just speak about this country, part of that journey is to dismantle systems that have been built to oppress other people. The hard work of life is to confront yourself. How do I benefit from the way that things are? And how does my benefiting from those things harm other people? And instead of walking around with, 1,000-pound bag of shame on your back, consider it your responsibility to do that work. Consider it an opportunity that you are in the best possible position to make this world a better place by not accepting racist and prejudiced and oppressive systems for what they are and trying to contribute to changing them. Use the privilege that you have for good. I don't think that anybody can ever really love themselves without being honest about themselves, without being honest with themselves. And that work is painful and hard, but it's so worth it. White people, you don't have to consciously think that you're better than other people in order to contribute to harm against them. All it takes to contribute to harm is to stay silent and disengaged. White people, can we finally get this shit right? Can we finally take accountability? Can we finally look ourselves in the mirror and decide that this isn't good enough? We're not doing a good enough job. You aren't losing because somebody else is safe and cared for. You aren't losing because somebody different than you exists. White people, let's talk about it. Let's start having these conversations with ourselves and with each other. It's time.
Thank you for staying tuned for watching those amazing clips. As you can see, the white lady was actually raging at their own race of people about how they treat the black community and how the whites behave within the black community. And she actually emphasized on saying more that once you are not being born of a white person, then the world is actually against you. And that is exactly what the lady was trying to say, that everybody should treat people equally, regardless of their race, regardless of ethnicity, and regardless of their background. That is exactly what is happening within the United States of America now. Drop your thoughts in the comment section and let's have more insight on this same topic. Thank you.